Well, I'm with Oliver and Archie down here in Castletown. What a beautiful day to do this, talk about politics. And you guys are getting together to try and encourage the younger vote, which I think is fantastic news. Where's this idea come from?
Well, both me and Archie are quite interested in politics, and I'm quite interested in sort of the Manx politics, and we have quite a lot of friends and people that sort of say to us, we're not really interested in voting, and it's quite disheartening to people that sort of want some sort of change, that people are reluctant to do so. So we thought we'd set up a organisation / campaign called Youth Vote IM.
And we talked about it before, the 16-year-olds get a vote in the Isle of Man, 16 and 17, which is thrown away to some degree by so many people who don't take an interest.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. We saw it was in the last the Douglas South by-election that 25% of the registered 16 to 18-year-olds actually went out and vote. And there is kind of a voter apathy towards and maybe not knowing enough about politics. We did a kind of a brief survey, just over a very small sample group of about 50 people, and we saw kind of over half of them, like 60%, said they didn't feel they were well informed enough to be able to vote. And that's kind of a key issue that we're working on, is kind of informing the youth about their candidates, presenting a very non-partisan, non-biased view, and letting them know how they can vote first, how they can register to vote, and kind of what to do on voting day and how to read manifestos, etc.
It's trying to find that audience, right? I mean, you've got to go into social media land, I guess, massively for this.
Yeah, social media is one of the biggest things. We see a lot of young people at the moment sharing a lot of social global problems, resharing things such as that, and we think, well, there's problems going on over here, so the main issue is that young people over here need to vote, because we see them expressing all the time their views on student fees and not enough for young people to do on the island. But the main problem is getting them to register to vote, and we see an urge, and obviously since COVID, a lot of young people have really sort of taken into the decisions being made by the Manx government, and obviously they've influenced and sort of controlled us for the past year. So a lot of younger people feel more passionate about things, I think. So social media is probably the biggest way in which we can influence this.
Is there a disconnect, though, because a lot of people aren't in your age range, obviously, and they're looking probably and listening to the older person potentially?
Well, I think that's kind of a key issue we look at, is kind of saying to young candidates, we do need to appeal to the whole demographic. Yes, the youth vote. Yes, they might move off island after 2 years, because there's between 16 and 18, and then they go to uni, usually in most cases. And we shouldn't just rely on kind of the older voters, your main voter base, because the young people have a very big democratic power. And I think there's some interesting research being done into how youth could have swung the election 2016. So it's looking at the youth vote does kind of really matter, because there's a lot of youth on the island of Man who can make a democratic decision and can kind of make those very key decisions between candidates.
I mean, I've done some weekend debate recently, and the person that was on he said himself wouldn't be able to name any but the politicians if it hadn't been for COVID. He can name the Chief Minister and Mr. Ashford probably, but overall most people just don't connect.
No, that's right, and we feel that young people do want to know, do want to get involved. But I think they have a basic understanding, but we think there needs to be more education, because I think we can make a difference. Really, by implying this,
and kind of with the kind of media currently, we know your media here, obviously. There isn't that interest within younger people to kind of read the likes of like Manx Radio, 3FM. It sees on their social media feeds, but it isn't really engaging that younger audience. Kind of what we want to do is build a campaign for the youth, by the youth, and kind of have that voter base and connection there.
So you're not party political in any way, or making this into something in the future, like that, because I know you'll be standing about another 5 years. But seriously, I mean, this is just down the middle, just to get people to sign up. Yeah,
I think it's definitely for younger people and for everyone. But it's also for older people to encourage the youth. We definitely it's non-partisan.
It's all providing kind of non-biased information. Whatever your age you are, our information is for you. It's making it accessible to the general populace.
So just explain, how do people sign up to get on the voters list? It's pretty simple, isn't it?
Well, yes, they can go to gov.im/register to vote, and they can click on the kind of the link which takes you to services.gov.im. You fill in your register as a new elector, you fill in your details, and there you're registered to vote. And the next important thing is you get your letter through of where your nearest polling station is. You go and read about your candidates in your constituency, and you go out to the polling station and place your name in the ballot box.
And back to you guys, where they go to find out more about you?
type into any or most social medias, Youth Vote IM.
And hopefully this will be a momentum and carry on and hopefully make a change.
Indeed, yes. Well, we are looking currently for any sort of sponsorship for kind of setting up a website. So we might see us approaching you. So if you do have any offers, we would love to collaborate with businesses across the board to kind of get more interest within the general election of 2021.